I've spent decades studying the human body, and what I've learned will surprise you. When you reach 80 years old, something extraordinary happens. Your body doesn't just continue aging the way it has been. Instead, it fundamentally transforms itself. It's like an invisible switch gets flipped somewhere deep in your biological programming, and suddenly your entire system starts following completely different rules. Rules that most people never learn about, not from their doctors, not from health experts, and certainly not in time to prepare for them. This transformation isn't something that only happens to some people. It's universal. Every single human body that reaches this milestone crosses the same biological thresholds, and there's no going back once you've passed them. Before we continue, tell me your age and country in the comments so we can support each other through these hidden changes. And stay with me, because the final part of this video reveals the one simple adjustment that helps your body handle this transformation. Recent scientific research has revealed that once you turn 80, your body undergoes 5 major, irreversible changes. It doesn't matter how healthy you've been throughout your life. It doesn't matter if you've run marathons, eaten perfectly, or never touched a cigarette. Your muscles, your taste buds, your skin, your brain, and even the clock that controls your sleep will all start behaving in completely new ways. Your body isn't falling apart or giving up. What's actually happening is much more fascinating. Your body is switching strategies. It's choosing survival over performance, making calculated decisions about how to keep you alive with the resources it has left. Most people misunderstand aging completely. They think it's a slow, steady decline, like a battery gradually running out of power. But that's not what happens at all. Aging is actually a silent reorganization happening inside every single organ. Your body is literally rewriting the biological code that has kept you alive for 8 decades. Some of these rewrites protect you and help you survive longer. Others, unfortunately, accelerate exactly what you're trying to avoid, increasing fragility, constant fatigue, and troubling forgetfulness. Let me walk you through these 5 transformations one by one, so you understand exactly what's happening inside your body and why. The first change begins in one of the most unexpected places, right on your tongue. When you cross into your 80s, your world doesn't just slow down, it actually starts to taste different. And this isn't about changing preferences or losing your appetite. This is pure biology rewriting how your brain interprets flavor itself. By the time you reach 80, you've lost approximately 70% of your taste buds. These microscopic sensors that once allowed you to savor your morning coffee or enjoy the natural sweetness of fresh fruit begin to flatten out and die off permanently under normal circumstances. Each taste bud only lives for about 10 days before your body replaces it with a fresh one. But as you age, your body stops regenerating them efficiently. The replacement process slows down dramatically, and eventually, many taste buds simply aren't replaced at all. The result is that meals progressively lose their magic and their appeal. But this goes far beyond just enjoying your food less. Taste buds serve a critical protective function. They detect spoiled food before you swallow it. They identify bitter toxins that could poison you. They warn you when salt levels are dangerously high. When you lose this natural defense system, you start compensating without even realizing it. You add more salt to make food taste like something. You pile on more sugar too. Find that satisfaction you remember, and that's when serious health problems begin creeping in. Studies have found that older adults who lose more than half their taste sensitivity face a 40% higher risk of developing high blood pressure or diabetes within just 5 years. This isn't because of aging itself, but because they unconsciously compensate for their dulled senses with unhealthy flavoring choices that their bodies can no longer handle well. There's another factor making this worse. After 80, your saliva production slows down dramatically. Saliva is essential for taste because it carries taste molecules to your taste buds. Without adequate saliva, even the most flavorful, well-seasoned meal tastes flat and lifeless, almost like you're chewing cardboard. This is why so many seniors suddenly lose all interest in eating, insisting that nothing tastes good anymore. But this isn't in their heads. It's not psychological or depression-related, it's completely physiological. Your tongue, your taste nerves, and your salivary glands are all aging together, creating what researchers call taste fatigue. Your sense of smell, which actually accounts for roughly 80% of what you perceive as flavor, also declines sharply after 70 and even faster after 80. Research shows that nearly half of all adults over 80 have either partial or total smell loss. That's why food begins tasting so bland, because you're not truly smelling it anymore. This becomes more dangerous than most people realize. Many older adults can't detect gas leaks in their homes. They can't smell smoke from a fire starting. They can't tell when food is spoiled. And with their reduced appetite, they begin eating less and less, spiraling into malnutrition without even recognizing what's happening to them. The second major transformation happens in your skin. By the time you turn 80, your skin isn't just wrinkled and aged in appearance, it actually becomes forgetful. And this forgetfulness isn't cosmetic, it's biological and potentially dangerous. Your skin, which is your body's largest organ, literally starts forgetting how to repair itself properly. A small cut that would have healed completely in just a few days when you were 40 might now linger for weeks or even months. The healing isn't just slower, your skin cells actually seem confused about what they're supposed to do. Recent scientific studies have discovered that after age 80, skin cells lose what researchers call their molecular memory. This means that when you get injured, even from something as minor as a scratch, your body struggles to remember the proper sequence for rebuilding tissue. Normally, specialized cells called fibroblasts, which produce collagen and repair wounds, rush to any injury site, follow a genetic blueprint, and efficiently patch things up. But in older adults, that blueprint starts fading away. The cells wander around aimlessly. They respond late, weakly, or sometimes not at all. This is why so many people over 80 complain that their wounds take forever to heal, or that bruises seem to appear out of nowhere from the slightest bump. This isn't bad luck or clumsiness, this is a fundamental system breakdown at the cellular level. And because skin also thins by nearly 20% after 80, wounds penetrate deeper into tissue and get infected much faster than they used to. The slowdown doesn't stop with just wound healing. Your blood vessels, which are responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your skin, also harden significantly with age. That means less circulation reaching your skin, less immune response when problems occur, and less collagen being produced. Collagen is the protein that holds your skin together, like scaffolding holding up a building. Research shows that collagen production drops by a staggering 75% between ages 25 and 80. By that point, even a mild bump against a table edge can rupture fragile capillaries under your skin, causing large purple bruises that seem to appear mysteriously. This forgetfulness has a deeper biological cause that scientists call epigenetic drift. Think of your skin cells like students who once followed perfect instructions from a teacher. With age, those instructions become blurry and unclear, so the cells start guessing at what they should do. Some repair too little, leaving wounds open. Others repair too much, forming excessive scar tissue. The precise coordination that once made healing feel effortless has completely vanished. This is also why older adults become much more vulnerable to skin tears, ulcers, and infections, even from something as simple as scratching dry, itchy skin. And because their immune cells have weakened too, bacteria and other pathogens get a significant head start before the body can mount any defense. Studies show that skin infections in people over 80 last 3 times longer on average than the same infections in middle-aged adults. The third transformation happens inside your brain, and it's both extraordinary and unsettling. Around age 80, your brain starts quietly rewiring itself in fundamental ways, not because it wants to, but because it absolutely has to in order to keep functioning. By this point in your life, you've lost nearly 20% of your brain's white matter. White matter consists of the neural highways that connect your thoughts, memories, and movements together into coherent actions. To survive this loss, your brain starts rerouting signals around damaged areas, creating new detours around fading circuits. It's a remarkable act of self-preservation and adaptation, but it definitely comes at a cost in terms of processing. Speed and efficiency. This rewiring is your brain's way of compensating for decades of accumulated wear and tear. As neurons die off or lose their efficiency, nearby neurons are recruited to take over their jobs, forming improvised backup routes through your neural networks. The result is that you can still think, recall memories, and reason through problems, but not nearly as smoothly or quickly as before. It's like trying to drive through a city where half the main roads are permanently under construction. You'll eventually get where you're going, but it takes significantly longer, and sometimes you forget where you were headed in the first place. This biological reality explains why many people over 80 describe experiencing moments of confusion or mental delay. They walk into a room and completely forget why they went there. They struggle to recall names of people they've known for years. They lose their train of thought right in the middle of a sentence. But this isn't dementia or disease. This is detoured thinking. The brain is actively rerouting its pathways in real time, trying to find new ways to accomplish familiar tasks. However, this rewiring process isn't random or chaotic. It's actually quite strategic and purposeful. Your brain consciously prioritizes emotional memories over technical details and factual information. That's why at 82, you might completely forget what you ate for lunch 2 hours ago, but you can vividly recall the exact smell of your mother's kitchen from 70 years in the past. The limbic system, which is your brain's emotional core, stays remarkably strong and intact, even as the analytical cortex that handles logic and reasoning begins to weaken significantly. However, there's definitely a darker side to this rewiring process. When new neural connections form incorrectly or in the wrong places, they can cause slower reaction times, unsteady balance, or sudden, unexplained emotional changes that seem to come from nowhere. Research has revealed that nearly 1 in 3 adults over 80 experience what scientists call mild cognitive fluctuation due to misrouted neural activity. These are brief moments of sudden mental fog that come and go unpredictably throughout the day. It's not permanent brain damage or progressive disease. It's temporary confusion caused by overloaded neural circuits trying to handle too much information through improvised pathways. So when you lose a word you've used 1,000 times, pause in the middle of telling a story, or forget an important date, you shouldn't panic immediately. It's not always a sign of serious cognitive decline. It's often just a sign that your brain is actively adapting to a completely new phase of operation, trying to keep you functional with fewer resources than it once had. The fourth transformation affects your muscles in a truly alarming way. By the time you reach 80, something disturbing begins happening deep beneath your skin. Your muscles, which were once strong, firm, and always ready to move, quietly start consuming themselves from the inside. This process is called sarcopenia, and it represents one of the most dangerous yet completely invisible processes of aging. It doesn't happen overnight in some dramatic event. Instead, it creeps in slowly and steadily, gradually turning power into weakness, strength into stiffness, and independence into dependency on others. More than 45% of people over 80 suffer from moderate to severe sarcopenia, and the vast majority don't even realize it's happening to them until it's quite advanced. Every single year after 80, you lose about 1% of your total muscle mass and between 2 to 3% of your overall strength, even if you're still walking regularly, eating well, and trying to stay active. The reason is brutally simple. Your body's delicate balance between building new protein and breaking down old protein completely collapses. Your body is still breaking down muscle tissue at the same rate as always, but you're no longer rebuilding it fast enough to replace what's lost. Critical hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormone plummet dramatically with age, and your body actually begins cannibalizing its own muscle tissue to use as emergency fuel. This process releases amino acids that your body desperately uses to keep your brain and heart functioning properly. But this survival strategy comes at a brutal cost in terms of shrinking arms, thinning legs, and progressively weakened posture. Over time, sarcopenia isn't just about losing muscle mass on a scale, it's about losing control over your own body. That's why people over 80 so often say they just don't feel steady on their feet anymore. They're not becoming clumsy or careless, they're becoming chemically unbalanced. Their brain sends urgent signals to muscles that simply aren't there anymore to respond. Research has found that seniors with sarcopenia are 5 times more likely to experience a serious fall or bone fracture, and those who lose more than 10% of their leg muscle mass actually double their overall mortality risk within just 3 years. But here's a shocking twist that most people never learn. Sarcopenia doesn't only affect your physical strength and balance, it also profoundly affects your immune system and even your brain function. Muscles act as essential reservoirs of amino acids that your body uses to produce immune cells and important neurotransmitters. When your muscles waste away, your body loses its backup supply of these critical building blocks. That's precisely why people with low muscle mass heal from injuries slower, get sick more frequently, and commonly experience persistent brain fog or unexplained low mood. The connection between muscle health and overall longevity is now scientifically undeniable. The weaker your muscles become, the shorter your expected lifespan. But the encouraging news is that you can fight back against this process. Every single step you take, every gentle stretch you do, and every bite of quality protein you eat sends a clear message to your body saying, "Don't it shut down yet. I still need this strength to live my life." The fifth and perhaps most haunting transformation involves your sleep patterns. When you cross 80, one of the most unsettling and least understood changes happens during the time when you're supposed to be resting peacefully. Your internal sleep clock, the biological rhythm that once kept your nights calm and your mornings bright and alert, starts flipping itself completely upside down. Suddenly you find yourself wide awake at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling. You're napping shortly after breakfast. You're feeling utterly exhausted long before sunset arrives. This isn't simple insomnia that you can fix with sleeping pills. This is your brain's master internal clock, called the circadian rhythm, losing its natural synchronization with the cycle of day and night. Research has discovered that after age 80, the brain's master clock, which is located in a tiny cluster of about 20,000 neurons sitting right behind your eyes, begins to weaken significantly. This biological clock uses light signals from your eyes to tell your body exactly when to release crucial hormones like melatonin, which makes you sleepy, and cortisol, which makes you alert. These are the two primary chemicals that control your entire sleep and wake cycle. But as your eyes age and begin absorbing less light, those critical signals become fuzzy and unreliable. Your body's still desperate. Ellie wants to sleep and wake on a schedule, but it no longer knows precisely when it should do either. This is why so many older adults experience what scientists call advanced sleep phase syndrome. They fall asleep far too early in the evening, wake up in the middle of the night unable to fall back asleep, and then drift off during the day when they should be awake. This isn't about poor sleep habits or discipline. This is pure biology rewiring itself at a fundamental level, and it affects nearly 60% of all people over 80. But the problems don't stop with just disrupted sleep timing. When your circadian rhythm flips, your body temperature regulation, hormone release patterns, and even your digestion all fall out of proper sync too. Your liver may start metabolizing food at completely wrong times. Your heart rate might dip dangerously or spike unpredictably. Your immune system becomes confused about when it should be most active. Studies have found that seniors with severely disrupted sleep rhythms face 3 times the risk of cardiovascular events and accelerated cognitive decline compared to those who maintain stable sleep patterns. Sleep at 80% isn't just about feeling rested. It's fundamentally about survival itself. During the deepest stages of sleep, your brain actually cleans itself, literally washing away accumulated toxins through a specialized network called the glymphatic system. When your sleep becomes shallow or constantly fragmented, that essential cleansing process fails completely, allowing dangerous waste proteins like beta amyloid to build up in your brain tissue. These are the exact same proteins that have been directly linked to Alzheimer's disease and dementia. In short, losing quality sleep means losing critical protection for your mind. But there is genuine hope here. Exposure to bright morning sunlight, keeping lights very dim in the EV. Eating meals at consistent times can actually retrain your body's natural rhythm over time. Gentle physical activity like short walks or simple chair stretches also helps reinforce the proper day and night cycle. So when you find yourself waking in the darkness or nodding off in bright daylight, understand that it's not weakness or laziness. It's your brain fighting hard to recalibrate its relationship with time itself. These 5 transformations happen to everyone who reaches 80%, whether you like it or not. Your body changes its fundamental rhythm. Your senses progressively fade. Your muscles gradually shrink. And your brain begins quietly rewriting its own operating code. But here's the crucial part that matters most. These changes don't mean you're broken or finished. They mean you're still alive, still adapting, still fighting, and still learning how to survive in your eighth decade of life. Science now clearly shows that even at 80 and well beyond, you can rebuild lost strength, restore mental focus, and reset your internal clock. You can't stop time from moving forward, but you can definitely slow its grip on your body by staying mentally curious, eating nutritious food, and moving your body every single day.